Hello, everybody. Welcome to Grindhouse Massacre. We are here in the grand finals with Dead Future going up against Valhalla. I'm one of your casters, Tyro, and right now we have a very exciting Blight chase underway with Jinxie of Dead Future going up against Vobo of Valhalla. And this is a very quick tag as well. I'm joined here by Georgie. Georgie, what do we think?
So great to have you here, Tyra. I'm also excited to be here casting for the grand finals of Grindhouse. What a great season it's been for the first season of Grindhouse. And instantly, we got a down onto Jinxie. Valbo doing a good job. That flick there was nasty at that tile. Just going straight into a Blight set, hot and heavy, very fast-paced killer. We're going to be expecting some fast tunnel outs on this killer, high gen results. And, I mean, look at this build. Pretty aggressive on the regression, right? We've got Dying Light, we've got Ruin, we've got Corrupt, and a hook on the board. What do you think Valbo's going to put up here?
I don't know, but with that kind of start, I do expect it to be a pretty good result. But that is going to be a very fast unhook up against an S-tier killer. And he's going straight back there to secure that tunnel out onto Jinxie. They do not want to get some sort of for the people play going on the main building. And Vobo does an amazing job of just denying that there is going to find Jinxie. And it looks like we're going to see Balance Landing coming through. And then an instant hit with the animation bug as well. But that is still a quick read down, still at 5 generators.
Yeah, Blight is such a fast-paced killer. I mean, you got to use those exhaustions well, and you saw even Jinxie pop in the balance landing. There was not quite enough, but hold that thought. We've got to chase her with finesse at this filler pallet over at 1. Bobo choosing to respect it, not going to quite take the stun there. Just going to break and see if he can get a tag onto finesse. But look, Tyro, we've got a tunnel out already on stage 2, and no gens have popped.
Yeah, the survivors have to be just slamming generators, but they actually go for an unhook while Vobo is right here in the area. For the people is going to come through, but Jinxie's going to use the pallet to make even more distance. And now we have to see if Vobo's able to get 2 hits and secure that tunnel out. But we do have a pallet gem, but it does not matter. Jinxie goes to the long side, gets hit, and Vobo is hot in pursuit, going straight back to this tile, and then Vobo wins another 50. Getting the down, that's going to be a tunnel out of 5 gens.
I'm sitting here thinking, what are we doing, folks? Where are the generators popping for Dead Future? They have got to get something on the board, but we have seen not 1, but 3 separate hooks on the same player, and we are only now seeing the first generator pop. I don't know about you, but Valhalla looks like they came in way more prepared for this set. I'm looking at a Dead Future that's lost and disorganized. They've got to do something to get their head back in this game. I need to see them play this 3v1 extremely well if they want to put up any sort of result that's satisfying to the killer.
Yeah, Hamdan going to be found here injured and then going straight down, proccing that eruption on the only other gen with progress. That's going to be an amazing result for Vobo here. Just doing so much like pressure, and that's 3 stacks of Dying Light as well, which is just going to slow down any other gen progress even more.
Rune not in play anymore, so we've got Eruption on the board for Vobo. Already starting onto a chase on Fancy. Got Hamdan slugged over at Shack, so that 1 survivor finesse can't be working a gen, or otherwise that turret is going to be staying on the ground. A good stun coming through for Fancy. He's going to delay that tag, but we're fighting a losing battle at this point. When is the slug going to get picked up?
The slug's going to get picked up right now. Fancy going to evade a hit for as long as possible using the lockers, but it does not matter. Does still eat the tag anyway. Vobo trying to get some sort of read here with the dash. That's going to be a full reset onto Hamdan. And that generator down there, it was regressing, but it still had quite a bit of progress. So Vobo needs to get it down to go and answer it if he wants to continue this absolute insane result of a 4K4 potentially, but is just going to pick Fancy instead.
And we can kind of see this development in the Blight meta where you get your tunnel out and then it's a lot of aggression with rapid pace slugging just to really stall out those gens. I mean, oftentimes that's what you need to do to make sure no survivors can pop another generator. Shack Pallet going down by Hamdan, making sure not to give up the tag as these tags are so crucial in this 3v1. We've got a hook on Fancy, finesse nowhere to be seen. Fancy is working his ass off to try and get this finesse pull, but he does get pulled. Hamden not getting tagged there, so able to make it back to this hook without giving a tag. But hold that thought, Bobo gets an amazing flick. Finesse tagged on the board, and we're starting to chase with Fancy.
Yeah, it looks like Vavo just wants even more pressure by getting yet another tunnel out, which will be extremely good for him going forward and just building up those stacks. Actually is going to go for the tag here onto Hamden, but Hamden just crucially avoiding getting these tags. And that is super good, but is going to finally eat an M1 hit at this pallet. Going to be dropping it in Vabo's face and just trying to make as much distance as possible. But Vabo has the dash and is actually going to get the down onto Hamden right next to this generator with all the progress.
What a performance from Vabo so far. He has came out busting into this grand finals absolutely with full determination to 4K Dead Future at the highest gen count, and they are just seeming a little bit too lost. Hamdan doing a good job to deny tags while he could, but eventually did give it up, and now we've seen a slug with 2 injured on the board. This could be it, Tyro. We're going to see a 4K4 potentially.
Yeah, this is going to be crucial. Very good locker pull. It is going to proc that eruption on that generator down there. But one interesting thing to note is that we do have the Dying Light in play, and Vabo has chosen to slug Hamdan twice now while picking up the other survivors, likely to get even more stacks of that perk, just to slow down the survivors even more. But that is going to be the pull onto Finesse. And we do see a second win in play, which is crucial. We need healthy survivors in order to take a hit. But of course, a chase is now underway onto Hamden yet again.
A little V1 tech is going to allow Vabo to end that chase quickly. Again, refusing to hook Hamdan. You can see that Dying Light stacking up. It does not trigger a stack when we hook the Obsession, as Tyra mentioned earlier. Up to 5 stacks now. That's 3% per stack. We're at 15% slowdown on these generators, Tyro. And that's to mention we're already in the 3v1, and there is no more Ruin, but there is Eruption. All these tags coming in. You gotta wonder, where are the survivors for Dead Future gonna find the break? Vabo finds Finesse. Finesse with a good crouch is going to avoid the tag, but no pallet of this tile means he's going to go down eventually. Fancy does get the pickup in the bet. In the meantime, I'm wondering, when is it going to end? This is a second stage on the Finesse, and we've got Dying Light. This is going to be the 6th stack. 18% slowdown on these gens.
Yeah, Vabo just keeping up the pressure, not letting these survivors have any break. You want these survivors injured in order to get as much pressure going as possible, and that is what the survivors have realized. They finally reset across the map, but that is a bunch of time that they've spent not doing those generators, not getting any progress towards potentially making another 1 or 2 generator in order to get their killer a bit of a better result to work forward. But Vabo does actually catch a rotation.
The Future were able to get the resets off and stealth away accordingly, but Hamden crucially leaving scratch marks. Vabo spots that out, interrupts the pull. And now it's up to Fancy to decide if he's going to rotate for the pull or let Finesse go on hook. I'm thinking if I'm Dead Future, we need to slow this game down and stealth out. We can't be getting found on these rotations. But Vabo, with eagle eyes, is able to find every rotation, know exactly what they're working and where they're going. Getting these tags crucially. Dead Future's got to find a way to get back into this game. Fancy finding the chase onto Shaq. Finesse and Hamdan pleading with Fancy to have a long enough chase so they can get their resets and work a gen. Fancy denying the McDonald's window hit. Now, what's he gonna do?
Very crucial dash here, but is not going to land. Vabo, unfortunately, just not able to quite get it. And Fancy now at this modified 4-lane is going to eat a tag after vaulting that pallet and then running away from these generators. But at this point, all the generators on the map still need to be completed. I don't know if they even care about macro at this point, but that is going to be a down with an eruption proc on that topside generator, revealing the aura of Finesse, who chose not to reset Hamdan somewhere else on the map. And Vabo is going straight to Finesse, going to be bumping here and reading the vault, getting the down onto Hamdan.
Vabo saying, no, I want more. I will not hook Fancy. I'm ending this game here and now. Now we're in a situation where, again, these survivors of Dead Future are coming to the needle's edge, right about to where we're going to say it's over. And somehow, some way, they just keep coming back. They are resilient in this 3v1. But again, what does it mean? Because we haven't seen a gen pop tower. This is just a stalemate. We're on a sinking ship. I need to see something pop on the board.
We need some sort of a juicer chase from one of the survivors in order to buy enough time, but unfortunately, that is going to be an injured Fancy found in a dead zone-y area. Does make it to the bus, and this is a stronger bus setup than the split bus. So we have to see what Fancy does, but it's going to get tagged through the pallet, and that is crucial because now Vabo's going to start the slug train, go straight back towards the hook where they were in fact resetting. He actually finds the survivor, the healthy survivor Finesse here. They managed to finish that reset on each other.
Finesse doing a good job using the collision there to deny the tag from Vabo coming in with the Blight rushes. Good little mind game is eventually going to leave this entity block on this window here. Going to lead to a tag onto Finesse. Fancy slug in the distance, but we can be sure that Hamdan's going to go pick that up. But Finesse, after this pallet's gone, is not going to have much left. Vabo running in for the flick, and he's hitting. Yes! Finesse goes down.
That's
but
a death.
This is a death, Tyra. We're going into the 2v1. Now Dead Future. I'm not sure how you pop another generator. If I'm on Dead Future, I'm saying, look, stealth it out. Whoever gets found, have a long enough chase for me to pop a gen. Let's try to at least get 4K3. And man, this killer for Dead Future is going to have quite the win condition coming up for them. But we know Dead Future. We've seen them pop up before. There's a reason they're here in the grand finals of Grindhouse Season 1. And we're here to watch them play. I wonder what they can pull it out, Tyro.
I've doubted Dino, who I'm assuming is their Blight player, many times before, and it's never worked out in my favor, so we will have to see that result coming up. But in this meantime, we do still have the survivors in the game. My bet is that they're going to try to just split the gens and not get caught out. But unfortunately, Fancy is going to be caught out here. Good crouch tech, going to delay this down, but again, there's no resources in the area. That is going to be a tag and a down, proccing the eruption, revealing Hamdan's location with the eruption, and Vabo's going to go straight over there with the dashes. Hamdan has to make this count.
It's over.
Has to somehow pick up his teammate.
It's over. Tyro, it's over. Eruption aura going to be showing on Hamdan. Hamdan's starting to chase. Vabo having the exact precise bump logic to manufacture a hit at that tile at the shack. Now going to be going down into this modified 4-lane. Hamdan not having much of a chance to play this. Vabo going to leave the pallet up, does get the mind game, and that is going to end us at a 4K4 for our first game of the Grindhouse Grand Finals. Vabo coming in with a performance rocking off the world, ready to show them who's who.
Yeah, Valhalla wants to take it all here in this Grand Finals. They went through the entirety of the winner's bracket. They fought their way to the top, and that's where they want to stay.
Did they not drop a single game? Did they just make it through the whole... They didn't go losers bracket, ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of how winner's bracket works, yes.
Now, they're here, and Dead Future has got quite a handful on their hands. What do you think Dino can do here? You think he's going to match it?
I think Dino can put up a good result. It's going to be an uphill battle to match it, but one thing that I do know is that Dead Future has to keep their head up. The thing about a best of 5 is that a lot of it is in that mental game, and if you let yourself go too early off of tilt, that's going to be a miserable next 2 games. So let's see what Dino and Dead Future is able to do coming up very shortly. Please stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back momentarily.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back into the Grindhouse Season 1 Grand Finals of the league. Now we've got Dino Melon operating Blight, piloting Blight for Dead Future, trying to answer back with a dastardly 4K4 for a tie, Tyro. That's just your tie. And 4K5 to win? I mean, look, Dino is a good killer. He's a very good killer. We've seen him play before, but can he answer that? Maybe with a tag that fast. Dino already getting a tag on the Svexy. Tyro, talk to me about this chase.
It's a very similar situation to last time, just getting a tag pretty quickly. Svexy is going to drop this pallet and make distance towards the top side of the map, actually looping around the truck here, just buying as much time as possible. Dino's not even going to be using any rushes here, just walking Svexy down, not going to risk getting that crouch tag at all. But getting a very quick down. And one thing to note is that Dino's build is cooking.
All right, cooking would be an understatement. We've got Thanatophobia and what's that perk? Merciless Storm. It's like the Ghost Girl on it. We love our little Ghost Girl, Sadako. But man, is that perk a little bit of a cheese perk. Ruined in the back pocket, but you can see that build looks to me like full desperation. Dino is throwing basically the barnhouse door at Valhalla here, praying for a 4K4 or at least a 4K5 for a win. Already started to chase Romano here at the shack. Shack Pal gonna use, but a fantastic flick is gonna find that tag. Dino might be going back for the tunnel. No, he needs the pressure, so he's going on. Continue to Romano, and Romano looking a little bit like he might go be a quick down here.
Yeah, very good bump logic there from Dino. Very good patience as well, getting that down. One thing to note though is that the survivors were able to heal Svexy on the other side of the map. And Dino kind of wants survivors injured in order to get all the value that he can out of that Thanatophobia Ruin combo. Just going to be bumping around the map, but that is going to be one gen popping in response to those 2 downs, and that is going to be the tie condition met, which means that Valhalla just need 1 more generator. That is crazy, and all 4 survivors are still on the board. At this point for Dead Future, they had a death. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Dino's able to keep up that pressure.
Thunder doing a good job holding this pallet, refusing to leave it, playing a good check spots. Thunder, we've seen this player play before, not an easy player to take out, let alone play against. Dino gonna drop the chase, seeing as the generator is done there. No reason to keep that chase going up there. We need to go pressure the map. But Tyro, I see 4 healthy survivors. Something's gonna give eventually. Merciless Storm in the back pocket. We see Neo on the Ruin. Trying to do a crouch check with elevation there. Dino gonna cleverly wait to the last second to swing so he doesn't get the hit. Double fatigue bug does hurt here. Still hasn't been patched for Blight, but I'm sure Blight's a little bit lower in the totem pole for balance patches for behavior. And now walking in for another tag onto Nia, potentially might get it down here. Good flick come through. An even better crouch check is gonna stop Mata from going down. Something's gonna pop, Tyre. We need it down fast.
Yeah, Dino just trying his best to get this chase going, but Mata doing a good job. Going to be interrupting this gen with that Ruin, getting a tag onto Romano, and going to be running around the side here. But that is going to be the Ruin cleanse, which means that generator is no longer regressing. And that means that Romano is going to have to delay this chase as long as possible, because that is the win condition generator right there. Dino trying to go for an M1 mind game, but actually gets, Romano wins the 50 there and makes so much distance.
Is that a Merciless Storm proc?
Yeah, we actually saw Merciless Storm get value on that generator. But all that does is tell Dino, hey, you have 2 generators that are like, you know, prime for the taking.
Yeah, Romano doing a good job holding this bus. It's a good bus pallet, but eventually was broken. He's got nothing down here, so it's just going to be broken later. But yeah, I mean, talk about that Merciless Storm. All it's telling Dino right now is, hey, warning, you're about to lose the match. You got to go, go, go. Dino does elect to pick this. Yeah, I'm going to say it. He did not have the time for it. Dino with an insanely difficult win con, not able to quite make it. So now we're just going to close this out. But this is going to be set 1 going to Valhalla on their pick of Blight.
Yeah, Dino playing really well, getting some impressive hits with those rushes, but at the end of the day, that pressure from getting that 3v1 super early and then the continued slug Ruin combo was just a little bit more pressure than Merciless Storm was able to put out. And it does look like Dino's finally going to go for that tunnel out onto Romano. Cannot hear him. I think that's going to be an Iron Will. Meanwhile, another gen pops across the map as well. And Romano just doing such an amazing job around this dumpster pallet. Just going to be making a little bit more distance towards the truck. Is this going to be dropped? Yes, it is. Dino not able to get the down quite yet. Going to be making even more distance after Dino breaks the pallet. The rushes are now recharged, but a very interesting pathing strategy comes out from Romano, getting him over here to this rock filler.
Oh my
Dino
God.
not quite able to land the dash. The rock filler is made. Romano having the chase of his life. Going to be going around the tires, finally going down. But the pallet is right there. Dino has to be cautious of any teammates in the area and is going to slug instead.
Just salt on the wound having that kind of chase. Romano absolutely popping off. Dino sees the obsession tentacles on his icon, so maybe a little bit wary of a potential decisive strike, but a pick comes up lightning fast. Dino probably not expecting that. Yeah, I mean, these survivors are coming in here with a good potential to not even just win the match, but also get outs here. And we talk about like a mental game in these sets, this big grand final 5-set potential. You got to keep that mental going, and to answer that with not only winning your set, but winning it hard on the first one, Valhalla is going to be sitting so pretty. So both of these teams have to just work so hard on the mental, and Romano eventually going to be going down, so we're going into the 3v1. But hold that thought, Dunder's here for the save. Dino sifts it out and going to take the tag. Yeah, now we're going to see the death on Romano, most likely, but Dunder refuses to leave.
And Dunder really wants this save. That is going to be the final gen popped, and Dunder just going to be making as much distance as possible. And it looks like they're actually going to be pressuring the gate nearby, keeping Dino away from that slug. They might try to get Romano up and actually secure even more stages out. Dino not able to get that down on to Svexy. Svexy going to be going away from this area, and Dino going straight back over here to where they were working on this this door. And there is Romano missing the dead hard and is now in a dead zone. No pallet in sight, but he might actually make this pallet. No, actually he does. Oh my goodness. Dino not going to go for the swing, is instead going to run towards Shack, where this door has likely been opened. And now we have to see whether Svexy can make it out. Svexy is going to go down in basement, and Dino is going to claim the 2 additional stages.
Good attempt from Sexy to get a little bit of a crouch check on there, but Dino too clever to fall for that. Waits for the last moment to swing, so he avoids the miss on the crouch tech. And yeah, what a statement by Valhalla, coming into this not only winning at 4k4 for their killer, but likewise putting up a 5-stage result for their survivors. And look, you may be looking at this thinking like, wow, Dino really got outclassed here. Sometimes as killer and competitive, you play for a hard win con and you don't meet it, you can look a lot worse than you usually do. So again, these teams are here for a reason. Dead Future are no slouches when it comes to competitive DBD, and their set will be coming up next. We'll be back with you, so stick around for the grand finals of Grindhouse League. Thank you for watching.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Grindhouse Massacre, the finals between Valhalla and Dead Future. Dead Future had a pretty rough game 1 in the Blight set, but we are here with Dino Melon's killer, the Singularity. This is Dead Future's killer pick, and they are killing first, going up against Valhalla Survivors. And Valhalla Survivors had a very tight game last time. We're gonna have to see whether they keep that up in this set. I'm Tyro, one of your casters, and I am joined by my good friend Georgie here. Georgie, what are we thinking about this set?
I mean, look, if you talk to me about a Dino killer, Singularity is certainly up there. This guy will play lights out on this killer, and he's coming right out of the board with an immediate hit on Navabo, coming back to make a statement saying you are not going to push us out that easily. I know we've seen a lot of good results from him on this killer. We've seen 4k4s, but we've also seen a couple 6 stages. Everything is possible on this killer, but look at that build. I mean, Tyra, we were thinking about this earlier in the pregame. That add-on, Soma Family Photo, that applies mending every time you're blobbed, and that's kind of what you were thinking about why Singularity is so strong nowadays, and maybe why I underrated it. But look at all these mending tags. I don't think Cenobite can do this.
Yeah. Like, that is the strength of this add-on and this killer. You're just going to put everyone into mending. They now have to mend, and they have to worry about getting EMPs to get these paws out. It's going to be very crucial for the survivors to manage this very well. That is going to be a stun and a blind coming through from Mata, I believe. And right now off the gate, like, we have 2 injuries. Romano still has to mend. Vabo did mend, and you know, just a whole lot of pressure that takes them off of generators and gets that ruin value.
I'm starting to see the sort of plan with Dino's build, right? We get our hook, and then with Force Hesitation, we camp to make sure it's a trade into an easy tunnel out, and then while everyone's worried about getting that hook trade, Dino's just stalling with those mending procs on that Soma Family Photo. Dunder loses the 50-50. Dino too patient to swing for it, does get the tag. Dino gonna immediately put him into mending. Are we gonna see a TP? Yes! But no one's here to help Dunder. This is a down. And eventually, this might lead out to a tunnel out with an... I'm really worried about this Force Hesitation. I mean, we could see a fast tunnel out. They've got to find a way to sneak this pull. But one thing about Soma Family Photo is you got to be injured to trigger that mending. So until Dino actually leaves that hook and gets that injuries, this add-on is null and void, out of play. However, this is a small map, Tyro, and we see the reset. Dino a little bit quick on the pull, but does get the infections on them. Look at that double infection, immediately cleansed, but those EMPs, they take a while to recharge. I'm wondering if Dino is going to use this opportunity to leave the hook.
No, Dino's going to stay right put. He knows where all 3 survivors are now, going to be getting that blob back onto Mata as well. And just applying as much pressure as he can. He wants to just blob repeatedly in order for survivors to have to worry about getting EMPs, and that takes them off of generators. And now we do actually see the unhook come through. Dino not quite able to get that force hesitation just yet, but the blob will be applied to Dunder, going to be chasing around the main building. Dunder not quite going to make it. I stand corrected. Dunder makes the window because Dino tried to wait out the base kit borrowed time, but now we are here in the village. That's going to be a pallet drop most likely, but the teleport is going to break the pallet right behind him. Dunder not going to make too much distance towards this main building. This vault is crucial. No,
he makes it.
Does not come through. Very good body block. That's going to be a down here at 5 generators, and we're seeing a lot of similarities between this and Valhalla's first Blight set. Just fast pulls into quick downs, into more gen pressure because of that ruin ticking away at them. And Dino's playing this fantastically.
I love seeing these 2 players play against each other. Dunder, a very solid survivor. You can see all the plays he goes for, perfectly timing that window vault to get the maximum value out of the BT, forcing Dino to let the vault go through, else he would hit him with the base kit BT, and then also almost winning the 50-50 on that window of revault. Dunder, an incredibly well-armed 1v1 survivor, showing why he's here in the grand finals today. But likewise, Dino knocking him down regardless, also showing why he's a great killer. Gonna be getting these tags on block on these survivors. And look, Dino's playing a StarCraft game. I mean, his actions per minute are through the roof. We've got so many keybinds, so many cameras checking. I don't even know how you would collaborate all this knowledge, all this information in your head, but Dino is orchestrating this into a symphony of chaos and destruction, keeping the survivors for a while on their toes. This is going to be force hesitation.
Force hesitation coming through. Dunder is not going to be able to make it anywhere. He's just running, baby walking for his life towards this window that is going to be the vault. And Dino is forced to slow vault it. There is not a pod onto Dunder, but there are no resources in sight. We have the cart. The cart is going to be crucial how it's played. The teammate dropping the pallet for him, but a very good vault going to lead him right back towards the top side of the map. And there's Vabo off of a generator. That's going to be ruined, ticking away at the progress, going for that hit tank. That's yet another injury. And now we see Dunder make it towards this pallet, going to be making the pallet and forcing the pallet break animation. Dino just breaking all these pallets with the power.
Chainsawing through these pallets.
Teleports.
Now we see this with Singularity Chase, but what good is it if you just feed all these pallets and for maybe buying a couple extra seconds of time? I just saw Dino shred through half the map's resources. I mean, we're going into the 3v1, and I am concerned for Valhalla. What else do they got to play? You've got the vaults in the village and the vault on Shack, but other than that, these resources have really dwindled for that chase. And if you have, this is the strength of Singularity. If you don't got an EMP, he basically just turns into a feeding pallet simulator. He's just like a Bubba on steroids. And now Dino has got full control of this match. He knows the survivors are resetting. If he's able to find this reset tower, and not quite as I was about to say, but we could have seen a really strong result out of him. Nonetheless, though, for a killer like this, that is as beatable as this. I mean, Dino is really putting a performance, and we see why Dead Future picked this for him.
Yeah, this is a very good match so far, and Mata is going to be found, now has a pod on him. One interesting thing to note about the EMPs, though, they do slow you down when you use them mid-chase, so you have to kind of be mindful about using the ones that you have in your hand. But yeah, a very good camera placement from Dino, going to catch Mata off guard, getting that teleport, and getting a very quick down. And that is going to be probably another pain res hook, I'd imagine, for Dino. Actually, no, I don't think that is a pain res. Yeah, we do not see a pain res hook just yet, but Dino is just spreading this pressure. The survivor spent all that time resetting and EMPing and getting rid of mending, and so that ruin that is still up, mind you, was just ticking away at all the progress that they had.
Yeah, very fortunate ruin spawn for Dino, and now the game is slowing down a little bit. We see the survivors for Valhalla. They want to Slow it down. Stop giving out these tags. Mata, you can be sure is calling out where Dino's sitting, but he's got control on all these generators. I think there's a camera on pretty much every single one. And man, this guy either has got some wicked ADHD or popped an Adderall pill. I don't know, but Dino is just on top of these cameras, just flicking back and forth. Again, talk about a StarCraft player's playstyle, and that is exactly what this killer is for. But I'm seeing all these camera movements and not much generator progress going for it. This might be a free 70-second hook stage camp.
Yeah, I do not imagine after that force hesitation was revealed that we're going to see anything in the form of a 1-for-1 trade ever again. So Dino just content to camp this out, saying, look, you guys had nothing because of that ruin. There was no gen pressure anywhere, and I'm going to keep pestering you with these pods, just, you know, pushing you off the generators, forcing you to go get these EMPs, and just so much pressure that Dino has while being next to the hook. While being next to the hook the entire time.
And what other killer does this?
Yeah.
Artist, maybe?
This is just so much pressure.
Not even Artist can really sit exactly close to a hook. This is where force hesitation really comes in. But Dino eventually going to bite the bait and take the teleport into Vavo, immediately getting a tag. I have to assume Vavo intentionally did not cleanse his infection just to get the Dino away from the hook, get some sort of pressure going in, because once you go into the 2v1, you are pretty much completely lost on potential to get any gen progress and generators popping. Dino gonna drop this chase though and leave him tagged to just add salt to the wound. It does actually get the mending hit, so there you go. That reset is stopped even more. No sloppy butcher in play, but mending does come through. And a good teleport is gonna get Vavo down onto the hook. Dino playing lights out on Singularity, and I'm a believer, Tyro. I'm a believer. I see what you mean, Tyro. This, I've seen the light. Singularity might be a top 8 killer. I honestly underestimated him before.
He is an extremely strong killer, and as we see, just warping across the map saying, Mata, you want to get reset? Well, too bad. Go save your teammate. Meanwhile, that ruin just ticking away at that field gen that had all the progress. Dino, he really said, hey, you guys 4K4'd us, very cool, but I'm going to try to do the exact same thing here. And he's doing such an amazing job with the pressure.
Oh, look at these cameras.
All these camera placements, just catching the survivors off guard like this. And at the same time...
It's like I'm watching a Far Cry 5 like stealth hideout game where he's just playing the sniper on the edge of the map and just taking out the NPCs, which is what these players look like. Not to count out that the players for Valhalla are NPCs who are very strong players, but Dino just playing extremely dominant on Singularity. And again, like, look, we talk about last set where Dino got 5 staged on Blight. Okay, you had a rough win con. You had to bring a weird build. You had to play a hard play style. But now we're seeing him in his comfort zone. I mean, Dino has just got full control. He's masterminding this match like I'm watching a chessboard. And these survivors are just not able to get any pressure. And it all comes down to that add-on. That Soma family value is just insane. The mending proc, stopping all those resets, getting these blobs, stopping the infection from being cleansed, and he finds the unhooker. This is over, Tyra. I think we're gonna see a 4K4. Oh no.
Slow vault coming through, actually going to buy so much time here for Dino. That's going to be very good pressure wise, and it looks like Dino is unable to find the last survivor. They are going to have to stealth, but remember, one other added benefit of the Singularity is if a survivor is potted, they have a big protruding, like, blob coming off their back. They are they are much easier to spot, and you can't really get away with things like hiding in a bush like you can with other killers.
Yeah, Tyro choosing a bit better phrasing than maybe I would have. I'm glad he covered that topic instead of me.
I almost said it.
Dino, we're rounding down into now a lot slower pace of the game, and I mean, if you're survivors for Valhalla here, what else can you do other than hide and maybe get an out? I mean, we're looking at a 4K4, and your killer's gonna have to respond with, at best, if you get this bleed out and someone gets hatch or a gate escape, like, you're gonna have to tie a 4K4. Like, it's just not reasonable to get a win here. So these survivors cannot let this guy die on hook. They've got to find a way to reset. Luckily for them though, Vavo does stealth out very well, plays the 1v1 well enough, and gets them an opportunity to at least reset Dino desperately looking for it to interrupt it with mending. Knows Nia was slugged there somewhere over by the village at 2. Maybe a bit of a different clock if our EU friends use a different clock, but that's the clock I'm going with. And Dino looking for it, senses it at Water Tower, does find the scratch marks, sniffs it out, and now he's wondering if someone's here for pole, and he finds it.
Very good camera placement, just catching Mata off guard. Going to be getting that teleport onto them. We know that someone else was over in the field, and that's going to be a very good swing from Dino, getting the down onto Mata. And then we do see the EMP'd camera out here, letting Dino know that he was still around in field. Romano probably going to die on that hook. And Vabo is now pod free, but also still in the area. Going to be found on this generator. There are no pallets here because he shredded them down earlier. And that's going to be the 4K4 result for Dino Melon on the Singularity for Dead Future.
Yeah, that micro fake at that pallet on Nia Mata was so well played. I love the kind of just all these little micro attacks we're seeing out of the killers here, and just destruction for both teams. We see a 4K4 for the Blight on Valhalla, and now in return a 4K4 for Dino on their own pick. We're seeing exactly why Dead Future's here, and Dino seemingly just carrying them, championing them, charioting them to this result. And I am thinking Dead Future's sitting very pretty to get a good play in return, but that's not over yet. We've seen Valhalla kill, and their killers are no jokes either. So we'll be right back with you to see if they can answer this brutal win con of 4K5 for Valhalla's killer. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back with you for the Grindhouse Grand Finals. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Grindhouse Finals. We just watched Dino Melon pilot Singularity for his team Dead Future and get a nasty 4K4. And now it's up to Vabo piloting Singularity for Valhalla to try and answer that with a win con of 4K5 and a tie of 4K4. I mean, look, Tyra, we've seen this tell before. We saw it on the Blight set. This is oftentimes the downfall of a lot of comp killers. You play for this brutal win con and don't end up achieving it or at all, and then you just get completely outed or stomped because you had to play so aggressive for it. Talk to me, Taro. I'm not seeing a corrupt here. All I see is pure aggression and pure just aura. Like, it's just, I don't even know how he's going to orchestrate this.
Yeah, I do know that in most Dead Dog sets here lately, Corrupt is becoming more and more rare because of the small size of the map. So it's not as mandatory, and because of the fixed nature of it, like, the RNG is not like completely set, but it's fairly set compared to most maps. So but Vabo here did opt for a very aggressive build, is going to find Fancy here in the village, going to be teleporting onto him on this 4 lane, going to be playing around this pallet, and Fancy unfortunately going to be eating a tag while the pallet is broken. And rapid one brutality. Interesting thing to see is that Rapid Brutality going to be giving an extra speed boost here in the overdrive. Fancy forced to play around this cart pallet, going towards the middle cart here, and not quite able to make it, does get grabbed. That's a very quick down.
Was that an attempt at a life to kind of free drop the pallet and vault? Either way, Fancy making a crucial mistake there and getting a quick down and onto the hook for Vabo. That's a quick stage immediately. Dino going to be taking a tag immediately here. I mean, if we were talking about the way Vabo can come back to this is how you have it happen. All these tags rapidly happening. This is going to be a down. I don't think he makes the vault. Yeah, Dino's dead. We've got a slug next to the hook. Are we? There's no way. There's no way Vabo comes into this set that Dead Future picked and is ready and just completely answers back with a 4K5 and wins on his own. There's no way.
I don't see any gen pressure. I finally see gen pressure.
Okay, I see gen pressure.
But it's too little too late. Vabo's going to find Jinxie on that gen, and then, yeah, getting the teleport here. Not quite able to get it through those slits of that fence, but is going to go straight back towards the hook, where Fancy is going to get unhooked. And that's going to be Finesse running away, not tagged with a pod just yet, is going to eat that pod on his back. And now we are going to see the chase around Shaq. I don't think he makes the vault, is going to try to go for the pallet, but thanks to this speed boost, that is going to be a tag. And Vabo is now aware of the only generator with serious progress on it, and is just going to defend it with his life.
Oh my god.
That, the TP,
I'm sorry. That's a down. This is going to be a Joel proc.
Yeah, that is a extremely good thing for Vabo.
Jolt just procking onto that gen over and over. Fancy's now amending already into a chase. Gonna have to force a locker. This is gonna be a second stage onto Fancy. This is already looking like chaos for Dead Future. They've only got to pop 2 generators to win this set, Tyro, and it's looking like Vabo's denying all of them popping. We're still at 4K5. We've got 4 injuries on the board. One of them's on the hook. One of them's on the ground. Finally, they do get de-infected, but Dead Future's got to find a way to reset. This is looking sloppy. This is looking dangerous. Fancy Jinxie does get eventually picked up, so we know the survivors are active at all, but they've got to quickly collaborate and get together back up. Okay. Finally, we see a generator pop, so no worry about Valhalla winning this set. That is the Tycon reached, thanks to an incredible performance by Dino. But man, this set has gone from doomed to saved to doomed, and we're so back, we're so back, we're so gone, it's over, it's Jover. I don't know what to make sense, Tyro.
Yeah, this is a roller coaster of emotions for sure. Dino Melon going to be found tagged with the deep wounds thanks to that Soma photo. And now we do see some more gen progress down here on the windmill gen, going to be dragging Vabo away from that topside generator. And the EMP on that pod is going to mean that Vabo has to traverse the map in order to reset it. And they are going to try to get as much pressure as they can on that generator, but they are playing injured. They are playing a very risky game, just trying to brute force that win con here by staying injured. And with that comes the possibility of very short chases due to the nature of Singularity. The swing and a miss through the pallet, Finesse doing a very good greed, but it's not enough. That's going to be a hit and a down, and then we're going to see Ruin pop, but Vabo's going to go straight into the fields and try to get more pressure.
Vabo keeping the pressure up, making sure to keep these injuries rolling, these slugs going. You can see he really wants to get this Tycon for his team. Refuses to hook anyone except for Fancy, who is our death hook here. Jinxie and Chaser not going to be able to make a vault here. Not the best RNG I've ever seen on a Dead Dog Saloon map, especially with these pallets being gone. He sees Jolt trigger on that. Sees progress on one. It's not regressing, so he knows someone was there earlier. The pickup on Finesse, but I mean, on a map like this, it is small, and it is possible to do the slugging playstyle, but seemingly Dead Future not quite falling away to it quite yet. Able to get the pickups in time, and now we see a little bit of a breathing moment, a little bit of a slowdown. I wonder if the server is going to try and get the reset, or do you think they're just going to scramble to get this next generator popping for the win con?
Yeah, Dead Future has played an extremely aggressive playstyle so far in response to this aggressive build and game plan from Vabo. And Jinxie's still on the ground. Meanwhile, the survivors are likely going to be slamming out this generator, and there it is. There is the win con. They just brute force the win condition. They do not want to even try to play for the best result. They just want to make it to 1-1. Jinxie finally getting picked up.
Good blob.
But now we will just play this out to see who gets the best result.
Yeah,
not who gets the best result, but to try to get the best result.
Yeah, I was genuinely worried for Dead Future there for a moment. Vabo just seemingly had so much pressure on the board, a bunch of slugs, a bunch of injuries, and okay, now we're seeing where the chess pieces are falling. I'm starting to see where Dead Future was putting their resources and effort into, which was instead of just resetting, just getting these generators going. And I've never seen this kind of playstyle with Singularity. I've assumed you kind of play them slow and just reset, get your EMPs, but I guess they're just cranking the gens and just assuming that chases will be long enough, even though these injuries. But Vabo's not a pushover killer, so these chases aren't going to be light. Like you said, going to be playing for the best result as possible. I think Vabo is just really hunting down for Fancy. Fancy hasn't been seen in a minute, doing a good job staying out of sight.
Yeah, even though Vabo's making a lot of pressure with these slugs, Dead Future's doing a good job of picking survivors up in response. And with all 4 survivors still on the board, it's going to make this slug play much more difficult as well. Because, you know, if one person goes to pick up a slug, there's still one person working a gen. And that person is Fancy there on the main building, like we saw. Just slamming away. Is going to eat the deep wounds though, and that's going to be 2 survivors in deep wounds and 1 on the ground, which is a lot of pressure for Vabo here.
Yeah, Vabo doing a good job keeping these cameras going and getting blobs where he can. We see 3 infections on the board for Dead Future. You know, if you're going for your best result possible, well, you already achieved the win con, and maybe that's not enough. Maybe you want to come out with a statement. I don't know. I mean, the survivors for Dead Future, they're the ones playing, not me. Dino does eventually go down and trigger another Jolt proc onto that Force hesitation in the build, but I haven't really seen the value out of it. I wonder if we maybe even could have seen Vabo win this if he went for like another totem like crowd control or something, but I see the point of a little bit of a fat shame there, so Vabo can't quite make it back into the map. Survivors for Dead Future still opting to stay injured or stalling the reset, I'm not sure which. And Vabo now concerned if he can find the reset, sees that there's not too much gen progress happening, so he's certain of it. Going over this yard to try and find it, but these Dead Future survivors are not quite able to be found. And hold that thought though, does find two, finds the reset. There's gonna be a down onto Finesse, too much distance on him to make the vault. Jinxie now in chase, and Fancy's gotta go for the pull.
You got forced hesitation value there, and along with that rapid brutality is going to make this chase a bit easier for Vabo.
Look how slow he is. That was through life.
Jinxie, I mean, Jinxie's played that phenomenally, all things considered. That bought a lot of time considering that he was slowed down and Vabo was sped up so fast. But now we have two slugs on the board, and Vabo wants more. Vabo's going to go and try to find that reset where it happened. Does find a survivor out there in the field, is going to get that tag onto Dino Melon. And get the teleport as well. Going to be chasing Dino here on the side of the building, going to be going into this 4-lane. And Dino very smartly going to be forcing the pull. This will buy Fancy time to pick up the teammate. However, Vabo's just going to drop him, trying to get that 4-man slug at this point.
Vabo not interested in hooking Dino, saying, "Get off my hands, you smelly scrub." Puts him back on the ground, and Dino gonna be left to rot there for a minute, but hold that thought. He's gonna find Jinxie, teleport onto him. He's got this wagon pal to play, but does try to do a micro fake. Does get the wrong timing for the drop, and Jinxie's gonna go down. Look at that bleed out bar though. And I mean, Vabo is at this point, the win con's been met for Dead Future. Now he's just fighting for 4K, trying to do the best mental damage he can. And I wonder if that slug was a statement to Dino, saying, you know what, you're gonna sit there and bleed while I do that. That's sometimes what I do in my pub games. You know, I have a bad game, get on nurse, put on a mid-witch offering, go bleed out the survivors. What? No, I'm just kidding. That wasn't me. I would never do that. Fancy here in chase. Deathhook. Finally, Vabo finds our Deathhook survivor, Fancy. Now he's got to try and see if he can get us to a 3v1. I wonder if Fancy's going to get any hit tanks or any help with the EMPs from his team, but it seemed like he's just going to go for this solo for solo. Bravado 1v1. Vabo coming in to try and get a hit on this pallet. Fancy doing a great job playing this on cross-ping. Doesn't drop it, tries security, and does eat a tag for that. Going to be a good TP. Take the vault into Shaq, and Tyra, I don't think Fancy's going to live for much longer here.
Yeah, the speed up there. Oh, not quite enough in order to get that hit onto Fancy at the window. Very good fake there from Vabo, but that is buying so much time. Yeah, he's going straight back to that hook where the now healthy Finesse is going to eat a tag, but at the same time, no down is going to come through to proc that force hesitation, and Finesse actually evades the cam there. And it looks like at the same time, Dino Melon was down here on the bottom side of the map, just slamming away at this generator, is going to get tagged with a pod because of that strange camera placement. And that is going to be a tag onto Dino. Vabo doing such a good job just getting these tags and making sure that all the players are continuously injured to build up that kind of pressure with the add-on.
Man, Singularity games can be quite the marathon. We are still in this match after an explosive start, and Vabo is still struggling to close this out. A little bit of a mishap on the M1. Probably wanted to get the teleport, but accidentally canceled his M2 too early. Faking the teleport into Fancy, really trying to get him involved. Fancy stalling it until the last moment he has. Man, Fancy has really like gotten a lot better over this set. I feel like I was a little worried about his performance earlier, but so far in this last tunnel chase, he's just like activated Final Instinct. What's the Dragon Ball Z term? Kai 10. He's gone Super Saiyan 3. He's popping. I need to watch more anime, but he's popping off. So good for Fancy, and certainly going to be going in this next set feeling a little bit better for himself.
Yeah, Fancy just buying so much time for his team, is going to eat a hit through the pallet. That is going to be the EUVNA difference there, playing a role, but at the same time, bought a lot of time for Dead Future in order to maybe get out another gen or two, because the survivors did have the time to reset, but that is actually going to be Finesse found afterwards, and Vabo's going to have to make a choice whether to go for that chase or continue to pressure these generators.
Yeah, now we're entering into the 3v1, so all that fun that the survivors could be having, splitting the pressure, getting the resets, playing with each other, playing altruistically, is going to slow down to a halt. Now, I mean, when you have a killer like Singularity who has so much pressure opportunities on the board, such as getting you into mending, constantly making you run back and forth through EMP boxes to make sure he has no effective chase power, now that you're in the 3-1 where you don't even have another server to be working gens, these generators are going to slow down from what they already were before, which was almost non-existent. We haven't seen a generator pop in 5-6 minutes. I mean, it has been a minute since we've seen something, one of those generators clank open. Good pallet greed from Finesse, recognizing Bob was going to mind game it and then swing through it. I'm having a little bit of misclicks here, but you know, in such a long-winded set like this, you're gonna be making mistakes occasionally. And now it's just up to Vabo to take us out of the set because, well, you know, Dead Future won it, and it's just a game of who's gonna be willing to close us out at this point.
Yeah, Dino going to be in chase here, using that EMP in order to get rid of the pod on his back. Going to be making this vault and buying a lot of time around this little shack here. Going to finally be eating the tag after a little bit of delay. And that's going to buy Dead Future some time to maybe do that main generator that they were cranking earlier. But Vabo is in hot pursuit, is actually going to probably drop this chase and start pressuring the generators. And there's not as much progress on main as I thought, judging from the sounds.
Yeah, once you kind of enter this 3v1, it's going to really start to slow down. Gen pressure being a lot slower. Dino nowhere to be seen yet, so possibly getting a reset off. You can see we've got a little bit of a 3-gen there, but hold that thought. Dino does eventually get found at Water Tower. Being a little bit aggressive does send the vault to preemptively, trying to just win a gamble there to get out of that corner. Babo playing it patiently well enough to just wait for him to panic and send the vault, and does eventually get the down. That's a second stage onto Dino. A generator pops in the distance, so you can be sure that that was Jinxie, because we knew Finesse was on here at main. So some way, somehow, they're going to try and send the pull, but Jinxie with a little bit of misposition going to get a pull, blob there. But in the background, Finesse does get the pull. Jinxie going to be entering chase here, just trying to buy time for his team to either crank or stay injured or reset. This is going to be a quick TP. I think Jinxie might die here.
Yeah, it's going to be a swing through the pallet and a hit. Jinxie did not greed, instead dropped, putting him in animation and getting him in range for that hit with the overdrive pallet break. And Vabo is going to secure that second stage onto Jinxie. One generator remaining, and it's right across the map from that generator that had a lot of progress on it. So we're going to have to see what Dead Future survivors are going to do in response. It does sound like we find the reset here. And Vabo's going to try to end this now at 4K1, is going to get the teleport onto Finesse here in the village, going to be trying to get the tag at the 4 lane. It is going to come through. Both survivors are injured, and now we have to wonder whether Vabo is going to get this down onto Finesse before Dino is able to get the save onto Jinxie. Jinxie does get saved right now. The vault is going to come through, and Finesse actually positioning it in a way. Fun fact about the Singularity, he will teleport to wherever the back of the pod is. So Finesse was actually positioning him to spawn away from the pallet in order for him to vault back over it and the pallet not to break.
Oh.
Finesse is going to just pop corner here in the corner of the map. Meanwhile, the resets are coming through, and Finesse did a very good job of just buying time there during that chase.
What is that for this rule set? What do you, if you get spun on killer or miss a swing, do you get like +10? Like is this now a win for an even harder win for Dead Future? Either way, though, good little misdirection from Vanessa is going to lead him to extend that chase a little bit longer. And yeah, like Tyra was saying, I mean, if our viewers want a little bit of a tip for Singularity, I saw a great video on it by Twitter. I forget who tweeted. Maybe it was on the Numinous Twitter account. Shout out to Numinous. But it was basically like, I'm pretty sure the Singularity blob is, if you imagine like a little like chain ball, iron chain ball following your survivor, it'll kind of follow you, but it's not always going to be on your precise back. It just kind of like follows you around like you're like a chain, like a ball and chain, right? So you just kind of position that where you are, you arc your survivor, you kind of drag it around, you can picture the momentum in your head, and you'll kind of know where he teleports. But either way, Singularity proving to be a very strong killer here, and I mean, the survivors for Dead Future have slowed this down immensely, but still extremely well fought on them for even lasting in this 3v1. Great stealthing by them so far. Finesse going to be found in chase by Vavo here. This is going to be a second stage of Finesse if he's able to get hooked fast. Jinxie on Deathhook and Dino on Deathhook, so not exactly the first survivor you want to be chasing, but either way, nonetheless, Vavo going to be taking the chase on the platter. I wonder, where is the generator progress happening? Are we going to see Gen Pop for this hook?
Yeah, the survivors had to have been working on something. I'm not exactly sure what their game plan is. They do have a gen split, but I don't know if they're going to be doubling or just targeting each side of the gen split individually and hoping to deny info. Vabo not quite. Oh, Vabo does find Jinxie over here on main, which means Dino is probably on that windmill generator at the same time. Going to be trying to get that teleport. Very good camera placement, actually going to get Jinxie kind of caught out here. Meanwhile, Finesse is going to get unhooked. The chase is going to continue here onto main. The tag coming through into Jinxie through the window, and then it looks like Vabo does not know what camera he wants to use, is not going to get the teleport follow-up just yet. But at the same time, it does look like Jinxie is just going to try to get away from main, and Dino Melon is found here instead. That is going to be a blob tag, but Dino has an EMP, and that is going to be the blob eaten up. Vabo kind of struggling to place the pods there, and is now in hot pursuit of, well, I guess he's not in hot pursuit of Dino. He's actually going to drop the chase.
Kind of dropped in hot pursuit of nothing. Vavo eventually gonna dislocate and drop Dino from the chase opportunity there, and he's got to find these two Deathhook injured survivors. Not sure quite on where they're resetting. Has an idea that they're somewhere over water tower. Here's a chase start on the Dino, but Dino obviously doing a good job to cause a distraction so his team can get the reset off that they so desperately need. And man, I wonder if fatigue is going to start sitting in for these teams. I mean, you've got the win condition, but we're still in a best of 5. You've got 3 more games to play. Jinxie gonna eventually go down there. Looked like he'd try to get a dead hard off with how fast the survivor hit the floor, but that is now gonna be entering the 2v1. More than likely, we'll be seeing a 4K1 or at least a 4KO. So Vavo finally clung us down to a 2v1, but man, the dead future survivors really made this a slog for him. I mean, they were like cockroaches. They refused to go down. You put one down, another gets up, just unkillable. I mean, have you seen cockroaches, how hard those things are to kill? Not saying the survivors for dead future are cockroaches at all, but certainly they are.
And your analogies today have been very insulting.
reminiscent in how they are. I don't mean to be, but eventually Finesse going to be going down. We know where Dino is, so now it's all about closing out. But we're going to see the 1v1.
Oh, what is this?
Dino, perhaps
this is just a war of attrition.
Oh, Dino sends it. Are we're playing red light, green light right
this
now?
Is
like,
stupid.
Oh, stop it.
The teleport is going to come through finally onto main. Dino going to be going for the last chase of the game, most likely going to be not taking that vault, and that will be a tag onto Dino. This gen was so close to popping, actually. I didn't even realize. But Dino going to be running around the bottom side of the main now. Does have this window vault, but that fast vault from the overdrive is going to come through. And a bit of a fake, not going to fall for it. And that's going to be Vabo going for the 360 stylish finish in this 4K1 for Valhalla. Unfortunately for them, that is not a 4K5 like they needed to win this set. So that is going to be the set going to dead future. And now we are in a 1-to-1 scenario in this best of 5 grand finals. Georgie, are we excited?
I'm gonna tell you now, that was a slobber knocker of a set, but ladies and gentlemen, that is not even close to the finish. We have 5 sets to play, 3 more to go, and this is just the first statement. Yeah, potentially 3 more to go. I mean, we could see the next 2 games go to the team and only see 4 sets played. But either way, this was a long set. I'm glad to be out of Singularity. Very well played by Dead Future. They did take set number 2 with Valhalla taking set number 1. So we will be back with you for an unknown set on the Wrecker's Yard. Thanks for watching, guys. Stick around. We'll be back with you for Grindhouse Finals, grand finals of the first season of Grindhouse. Thank you for watching.
Okay, welcome back to Grindhouse Massacre Finals. Here with Valhalla versus Dead Future. I am one of your casters, Tyro, and I am joined by one of the premier Oni players in NA, Georgie. Georgie, what do we think of the Oni Cold Tower set going on here?
Tyro, I am just beaming a giant smile. Thank you. Really, you know, maybe I am one of the better Onis, but either way, Finesse does come out with a good head on. Good bait by Fancy to start that, and yeah, I mean, this is pretty much every Oni set, but that's not, I was gonna say, that's not how you want to start
you know
an
what
Oni
happened?
set.
No, Fancy took the vault, and that triggered crowd control in the window, and then Finesse, who was head on, had nowhere to go. He had to go up and get hit. That like worked against him. That crowd control got so much value there.
And look, the Undying gonna make it so easy to mind game this tile. Overdose knows he's not going for the vault, so just gonna continue bloodlusting. We've got already a potential hit. Blood building up, so every time you drop these pallets, I mean, this is what I call an Oni. You basically, I call it farming. So like, you just get them to drop the pallet, and then you just bloodlust them over and over until they vault it over and over. But this is enough blood for power already at 5 generators and a hook on top of it. Overdose is going to be sitting in a position to potentially just camp this out with power, or even go further out on the map. I mean, this is really going to spiral out for Dead Future if they don't get a hold onto this game. What a massive disaster for Dead Future, and yeah, it was just that crowd control proc. I don't think that was intended at all for the survivors in Dead Future.
Yeah, they did not realize what was going on. If Fancy had like slow vaulted that in anticipation, that would not have happened. However, like, how do you know he's going to be running crowd control instead of BAM? Like, that's just like a gamble. But we are going to see Overdose pop that power, finding the survivors up in the main building in power, just going to be trying to get the down here. And a very smart play for the survivors, going to be using balance landing to make distance away from the main building. But Overdose is right on their trail, and very good for the survivors not taking that vault, getting the flick out. And Overdose is forced to go straight back towards this hook, but that 70-second hook timer is going to be milked for all it's worth.
Undying.
Oh, but doesn't get
the flick. Wow, talk about a crucial flick to miss. I mean, that is going to buy so much time for him. Dino gets the stun, and now we're out of the power. If this pull comes through without it being a trade, and looks like it might because of that cooldown, Dino's going to be getting this before second stage. Dead Future has come back into this game. And I mean, talk about a result turnaround for Dead Future. I mean, we were looking with that star, if he held power and got that a second stage, got a tunnel out of 3 gens, could have been a 4K2, maybe even a 4K3. But now, by the grace of God or behavior devs, Matthew McCote, whoever you want to pray to, Dead Future has come back into this game, and it's all thanks to a few mistakes from the Overdose and a good few plays from the Dead Future survivors. But man, I mean, we were talking about expecting Bamboozle. Like, who brings this build when you're setting WinCon? This is like one of those builds you bring when you're like, okay, I gotta get a 4K2, I gotta get a 4K3. But coming out the gate with this, that's some confidence. You got some ball.
Yeah, Overdose is going to just use that power in order to push the survivors off the generators, getting that ruin value. One thing about it is, since this build is so totem heavy, I think the survivors are kind of tipped off to that pentamento that is in the back pocket that we have not seen yet. The survivors are choosing not to cleanse any of the totems. They're just going to be playing around crowd control, which is very difficult. And unfortunately for Finesse, not going to make the head-on. It is going to go down here, and that will be an instant down. Overdose choosing to slug and going straight back towards the hook where Dino was, and does see some scratch marks leading up to the area. The vault coming through, and that is going to be the down on to Jinxie.
Good job.
However, that is going to take Overdose out of power, and now we have 2 down survivors, an injured Dino Melon, and Fancy probably thinking, what the hell do I do?
Yeah, Finesse gonna be slugged over there. Fancy is worried so much about getting another generator popping between that or getting a pickup. Overdose has got a good situation to get Dino back on the floor, but Shaq to work with means there's plenty of time for Dino to buy. That means Fancy's able to get that gen pop and likewise go back to main to pick up Finesse. Dead Future coming back to this very, very strong in spite of that disastrous start. And Overdose playing a decent Oni, but making a little bit too many mistakes. I mean, a killer like Oni, it is, like, in my experience, you bring speed if you are confident in your flicks and know you can get the downs. You bring duration if you're going to be thinking, it might be a bit difficult to get these flicks. And I don't think Overdose has quite played to the level of bringing Akito's Crutch. He might have done better with a Lion's Fang add-on, but nonetheless, the survivors for Dead Future doing a good job with it. But Overdose says, who needs power when I can just bloodlust you down? And that is what indeed happens. Cross ping so hard to play at some of even these god fillers. Dino gonna be going down, but this is a hook next to another hook with an Oni in power. Fancy's sending the pull as quick as he can, but this is likely gonna be another down. I want to see Jinxie block this with base kit BT. Does he get it off? Overdose going for the mind game. Fancy's nowhere to be found. Does get the flank. Fancy goes down. Jinxie's nowhere to be found. Are they getting the pull in time?
Very, very good flick from Overdose here. Going to be using it to break that pallet, and then we're actually going to see a locker force from Jinxie. That's going to be one survivor down, one survivor on hook, two survivors on hook, and now Finesse is just left standing, going for the unhook last-ditch effort. The hit is going to come in, giving up even more power. This could be a power usage, and with the stakes where they are currently, with one survivor on the floor, one on a hook, this is going to be a crucial use of the power for Overdose. This could be a 4K2 if we see him play it right.
Dino's got to buy as much time for his team as he can. Does not get the blocker force. Overdose gets the flick. Finesse is the only one remaining. Overdose is clambering to get this 4K2. He's going for the pull. Is he going to get it in time? Overdose sends it. He does not go for the pull. Got to come out with a 180. Not quite finding him. He's got to play this jungle gym, but this is 20 seconds left on this Oni power. Is he going to be able to run it for? He does not know where he is. Doing a good job stealthing this. He's worried about a locker force. Finesse has got head on. We've seen that as his gotcha. He's coming off up to the flick, and he does hit him. That is a 4K2 for Overdose, Valhalla's killer. What a match. We went from disaster to It's So Back to It's So Jover, and all of this just collaborated into a 4K2. I gotta think Dead Future was looking so strong. What the hell happened?
Yeah, just a lot of stuff was given up here and there throughout the match from the survivors, just continuously you know, just giving up a little bit too many hits, giving up a little bit too much info, not respecting the power enough, and honestly, Overdose just playing around the hooks there near the end was the change in playstyle that he needed. I think during the beginning of the game, what led to them, you know, making such a big comeback despite that disastrous start was that Overdose did not kind of protect his hooks nearly close enough. Getting that crucial unhook onto Finesse, for instance, before the second stage came through, that was a big turning point for the survivors. But at the same time, Overdose changed it up, played a little bit closer, and look at that. Dead Future kind of threw themselves at those saves, and it kind of costed them in the end. And Overdose going to be getting power and looking for the slugs now, I think.
Maybe a little bit too over-eager on getting those pulls. I have to wonder if just letting them sit on hook again, this is just a recurring issue with Dead Future. It seems like their individual microplay is so good, but just the macro and deciding when to go for these unhooks. I mean, we've seen it be the downfall of many a teams. I want to see as this set goes forward, I need to see Dead Future play these unhooks better, because if there's going to be any chance of them winning this grand finals, they've got to clean it up in the survivor macro play here, and Overdose doing a good job capitalizing that on nonetheless. Fancy is a fresh hook, so not yet. If he does get bled out, are we going to see adrenaline on Fancy? No way, right? We do. Game is back in session, but do you think, I don't know if this is actually good for Dead Future, because I mean, you can't really stealth the gates against Oni, right? You're going to be dropping blood, so Overdose is going to know some way or another, unless Fancy gets a miracle here. And honestly, you probably would have rather had Fancy bleed out, right? Because then you could tie a 4K2 as the killer and then get the win for that. But either way, nonetheless, this is going to be a potential for Fancy to get a gate out here. Overdose gambling that he's really back in this area. Doesn't concern himself with Shaq, but does eventually find Fancy to nice game sense. Are we going to see a good 180 here? Come on. Put on a show, Overdose. Sends it. Doesn't quite connect. Got to go for another chance. Fancy? Fancy? I don't know who I'm talking about. Fancy does take his distance, tries to chain it to the pillar, back behind main at 12. But no, Oni's going to put him down into the grave, and that is a 4K2 coming out for Overdose's killer, Valhalla. Tyra, what do you think we're going to see for Dead Future?
I am not exactly sure. The thing about an Oni set is that the win con can be pretty rough, and it's all dependent on that first chase. If Dead Future is able to get that first chase in a similar fashion that Overdose was able to this game, then they might be in a better standing going forward.
Yeah, either way, a decent result from Valhalla. 4K2, nothing to scoff at. In fact, way above average for what you want your Oni to be. It's going to be up to Dead Future's Killer to respond with a 4K3 win con. Stick around for that, folks. We'll be right back with you. This is Grindhouse League Grand Finals. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to Grindhouse Massacre Finals. We are here with Valhalla versus Dead Future, and we have Jinxie repping Dead Future on the Oni going up against Valhalla's survivors. And last game we saw a pretty devastating 4K2 from Overdose representing Valhalla. And right off the bat, we are going to see that chase towards the top side of the map with Svexy. Svexy going to be dropping this pallet and making the distance towards main, going right around towards that window, but Jinxie going to actually fake the break. Meanwhile, the vault comes through with that crowd control, but Jinxie does not commit, instead goes down towards the side of the map.
Pretty
But
much
I want
the
to
same build coming through onto Jinxie from the last game. I mean, look, we saw a pretty damn good result off of that, but copying the same build, aren't you worried about the team knowing exactly how to play around it? Either way, Jinxie not really getting as fortunate with getting the early hit as our previous Oni player did on Valhalla. Not quite finding it yet. A good play from the survivors on Valhalla to deny it so far. And yeah, that early totem spawn, I mean, Dwight pretty much, Svexy spawned directly on it, found it immediately. Jinxie had to drop it to pressure the map. There is no corrupt in play. I don't think you have to bring an aggressive build like this, but when you're fighting for 4K3 as your win con, you have to make things work somehow, and that's 2 totems gone, Undying and Ruin now off the board. Jinxie's only got 2 perks in play. Thankfully, one of them's a chase perk, but this hit isn't coming anytime soon. Dunder has another drop filler play at this Orma tile. Some would call it a god pallet, some would call it a filler. To Dunder to see how he can play it. Jinxie trying to bloodlust as the best he can. Is he going to win this 50-50?
Oh my goodness, the quick and quiet value. That's a 3rd totem gone as well. And right now, Dunder just playing this extremely well. Jinxie just choosing to bloodlust around the entire filler is actually going to go for some sort of mind game, but Dunder's way too patient for that. And that's all that bloodlust buildup just gone right there in that break. And Dunder's just going to make it towards the top side of the map, and already we see 2 generators popped, and there is a eye filler in the center as well. And Dunder just playing out of his mind, going to be dropping this pallet, going straight down towards the bottom side of the map. And if there is a time, oh my goodness, there's another filler as well. And Jinxie's actually going to be looking back here to try to catch off any survivors on these generators rather than continue on this chase against Dunder.
Talk about a ladder player. Dunder has put the entire team Valhalla on his back for this team. He is saying, look, for this game, I got you. Give me chase. And just puts Jinxie in the dirt playing these tiles. Jinxie tried his best to get a hit somehow, but can't find it. So many good fillers. I mean, look, this is not a bad cold tower. This is pretty good RNG, but that's not to put away to play these survivors and put in Valhalla. Pick this up for a reason. A cheeky little slow vault. I think Overdose has got life, and he just was reluctant to give it up there, but Bloodlust is kicking in. I think we might see the first hit. Jinxie gonna swing for it, but no! The hit does not come through. Overdose doing a good job, still denying the hit. He's got light to play with. He sends it, but no life, actually. So that slow vault was just to
I think he might still think crowd control's in play for some reason.
Oh my god, we are down to 1 gen left. The win con has already been met. It's done, it's dusted, but now it's just to say, yeah, you're not going to get a single hit. Overdose playing his pallet still, refuses to leave it. Jinxie's trying desperately to get hit here. These survivors in Valhalla are playing on cross ping. These are 150, 100 ping players just still refusing to give it M1. If I played like this, I couldn't do it, but I have not comes through. First hit of the game, Tyro, and it took 6 minutes.
Yeah, those survivors played it extremely well, just not giving Jinxie any room here. And Dunder, just a crack survivor, is over here at the shack, but the power is out now. Jinxie has to get a down at this point. The win con was met, unfortunately, for Valhalla, which means that Jinxie's just kind of playing for best result, but at the same time, all the gens pop before a down even comes through. Jinxie not quite able to make anything happen here on this killer, and right now it's just Dunder around a palletless shack, just, you know, winning every 50, going to be finally vaulting here, but Jinxie, oh my goodness.
Another 50!
He's just getting ran.
Jinxie's got power here and speed to work with,
Oh!
but eventually does find Thunder. Thunder try to get a crouch on the corner to stop him, but man, Thunder played that shack window so well, playing the 50-50s. And what even happened this match? What a statement by Valhalla to come in this and not only not give hit for 6 minutes, but offer up a 3 stage when your own killer 4K, dude. I mean, what am I watching? Dead Future looking like we're going back and forth from a team that deserves to be here and a team that I don't really know how it got here, but either way, Valhalla just popped off the set, and no thanks, almost all thanks to Thunder. Thunder was just the MVP this set. I mean, talk about a survivor to bring on your team when you've got an Oni set. Thunder really just came in the clutches for this team of Valhalla.
Yeah, fantastic chases all around from all the players except Mata. Mata just kind of cranked, but just super well played from Valhalla. Going to be taking this Oni set, and that's going to put us into the Unknown set with a standing of 2-1 with Valhalla in the lead. So that's going to be a very exciting set coming up. So please do stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and we will be back momentarily.
All right, hello, welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the small delay. We had a little bit of an issue with a player loading into the match, but now we're back with Unknown, back for this 4th set of the grand finals. So far, we're 1-2 with 2 on the board for Valhalla, 1 win for Dead Future. Dino trying to tie this set back up, make it 2-2, or are we going to see it go 3-1 and see Valhalla take it home for the grand finals of the first league of Grindhouse? Talk to me about the build, Tyra. I mean, look, last time we saw a pretty tough start for Dino, and I was kind of complaining about it in the pregame here that maybe should have taken less shots and played a little bit more M1 style. What do you think?
Yeah, I tend to agree, but Overdose this time getting hit pretty quickly, and that UVX coming through, and Dino just trying to get the M1 down here at 6. And this is a stark difference of game compared to last time. And it's unfortunate for Valhalla, but at the same time, they were literally down a player. They did not load in. So I bet they prefer, you know, kind of a rougher start with all 4 players to a good start with, you know, 3 players.
Yeah, how do you wrap your head around that? You're playing a 3v1 from the start, but your gen pressure is better. I guess it's just all about that chase sometimes. I know just wrapped up that chase a lightning fast with a good UVX hit onto Overdose and a hill hook to respond with that likewise. And now, like you said, a stark difference from last game's early game. Gonna apply Eruption onto this, and Dino's sitting pretty. I mean, look, he's got a gen at deep 3, mid 3, a gen here at 12. He's got a nice little 3-gen to work with and a hill hook here. Got to put UVX onto Svexy over in that corner at 10, and look, he's got a lot more control of this match. This could be a 4K too, 4K1.
Yeah, very well played from Dino so far, just pressuring this topside generator. Going to be pressuring Svexy even more while continuing to pressure that hook. That 70-second hook timer can be felt, though. We have to wonder if a survivor is in range, ready to get that pull at the last second, while Dino goes and pressures this topside. However, he is now back here in order to maybe secure that hook. We do see Svexy trying to break out of UVX, trying to break that teleport now, I think. But it's actually going to be Dino Melon teleporting right back, but a save comes through before the second happens. That's going to be Svexy tagged with UVX and injured, but it does not matter because the tunnel out is right here.
Wow, a good bait from Svexy is going to force Dino Melon's teleport, but that's a teleport without a down and without a second stage onto our overdose here. Wow, look at just saying you can't look at me with the mark, and Dino does eventually get the tag with a UVX hit too. These UVXs are really brutal on this killer. I mean, if you get hit by that, the cooldown is non-existent for the killer, and likewise your health state doesn't get you much distance. But right away, finding tunnel out with Overdose, but there's so much resources in this 9 side of the map, and Eruption's procced on that gen over there 12, but it's gonna pop any second unless Dino gets an Eruption on it, and he's gotta go through 2 health states on Overdose.
Yeah, Overdose playing this extremely well, just avoiding giving up any tags with that UVX, and actually breaks away from the tile, and that confuses Dino a little bit. He's not going to be able to land that UVX. 2 gens pop in response to this, and it's super crucial that they were able to get that heal off. Dino opting to shoot them both with a UVX rather than interrupt the heal with an M1. and that is going to cost him because this chase has been going on for quite some time, and he still doesn't have an injury. We don't see any real resources up here, but Overdose is just playing these rocks super well with the pathing, going to be delaying that hit. Finally, it's going to come in, and now we see the double window tile, but Overdose a jungle gym actually, and Overdose is actually just holding this pallet up, not going to drop it quite yet, going to try to force Dino, but a head-on actually saving the jungle gym pallet, and that's going to get Overdose to make super distance towards the bottom side of the map, and that is super good for Valhalla.
Great coordination for Valhalla is going to allow Overdose to tunnel out to get out of that jungle gym and make distance to a safer side of the map. But likewise, a good tunnel, a good teleport from Dino is going to lead to a quick injury on Dunder. And it's just like I said last game, like I just want to see less of these crazy like juker moment shots and more just good solid M1 play, because at this point you're just bleeding resources but not really getting anything for it. I mean, this should be a relatively safe shot, but even if I say that, Dunder still gets away from it. These survivors for Valhalla proving to be almost impossible to catch for Dino. I mean, look, we're 4 minutes now into this game, and there's been one hook stage. Valhalla has done a great job of baiting the teleport so the pull could happen before second stage over there at 3 at the beginning of the game. They've done a great job with the head-on to get the player away from the danger area to protect the tunnel. I mean, Valhalla is just playing this Wrecker's Yard so well, and not to mention their micro play. I mean, Tyro, talk to me about what Dino needs to even get a reasonable result here.
Dino's going to need quick chases and quick downs and good usage of the teleports to catch off rotations. That's the only way that he's going to be able to get a good rotation, or a good result. But at the same time, now we do see Overdose setting up maybe for some sort of hit tank. That might indicate that 2 gens are being ready to get popped soon, and that he's going to throw himself to the killer to try to get a 3-stage result for his team. And that is going to be a pallet break, but Dino's actually going to defect off of the injured Mata, getting the tag from UVX onto Overdose, who again already has a hook stage on the board, and Overdose is just breaking that LOS and doing such a good job of dodging that power, not giving up those free injuries and forcing the M1 hits. And now Dino's kind of choosing to go back and forth between targets and try to spread pressure, get the tags, and maybe lead to some easier downs now that the resources have thinned out a little.
Yeah, just really, Dino, you can see clawing at anything, any sort of leeway, any sort of advantage you can get, trying to desperately to find a survivor, making a mistake. Valhalla holding strong, refusing to make these critical errors that he needs. And folks, we are in the grand finals, and this is the 4th set of the match. Potentially, this is going to be dead Future being left out of it, all because of a great play by Valhalla, but hold that thought. Dino responds finally with a good UVX shot. There we go. That's the Dino we know. I was waiting for it to kick in, and eventually, but I wonder, is it too little too late? There's been so much progress on the board. Surely another pain res has come in, but look, Tyro, this is not a build that you want to go to 4KO with. You don't want to see gen pops. I look at this killer build and I think, okay, they're coming in, they're confident, they're looking for maybe a 4K2 or 4K1, they're going to get their pain reses, play the 3-1 with Eruption. If you knew this was going to happen, you'd probably bring Noed, right?
I mean, yeah. Right now, it's looking very likely that we're going to go to endgame. We do have that generator down there at 7, a pretty decent split. And the survivors are doing a good job of pressuring this unhook while also likely pressuring that generator as well. That is going to be Svexy tagged with the mortar shot, though. Very good on Dino to realize that he's probably working that, and is now going to be going down there to try to pressure it. Does not quite get the follow-up shot due to the little light sticking out of the generator. And that is going to be a chase onto Dunder, who is a tunnel out. But we do also have Overdose here going to eat a tag.
And Overdose eats a tag for that fake that Dino did use on that tile there. And that's basically what I want to see more of this match. I just want to see good M1 fundamentals, because the UVX has just proved to not be effective on catching these survivors out. And Valhalla just stone cold killers right now, playing so well in the face of Dino, who is a very, very experienced and good killer here. Just not quite able to make it work. This 3-gen is not really holdable at this point with 4 survivors remaining. Eruption gonna help out a little bit here. You do got an injury on Dunder. Is he gonna hit the shot? No.
Very good dodge.
Mata not giving him that injury. He's got 2 injured survivors on the board. He's got to get these eruption procs happening. I'm really worried that we're going to see this endgame pop. There, you see they're doubling that gen over there at 7. Dino knows it's happening, but he's just split across the board. Thankfully, he's playing Unknown, though, so he's got teleports that he can answer with. He's doing a good job pre-leave. Look at that pre-leave. Her teammate told her immediately that he was going to teleport back. I mean, like, these guys are just a well-oiled machine right now. Dino's just got really quite a hefty result ahead of him. He's got to find a way to make this work. Does get a tag, and that's how you start.
And Dino going to have to use the M1 here in order to get that injury, but is not going to commit to the chase. Is instead here going to be trying to get Dunder. Does not land that UVX. That's going to lead to an M1 hit, and he's going to have to go over here and pressure Svexy off of the gen as well, getting that UVX infection once again. But we do have another generator across the map that is also high progress, and it looks like the survivors know this. They are hovering this generator, just trying to say, go ahead, go over there. And he does actually go over here, but it's the healthy overdose going to be found. Going to be tagged at that UVX, but that's not exactly the same as an injury. Dino still having to hit 2 more times onto a survivor in order to get that injury, which is crucial at this point of the game.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm wondering if health states are more valuable than these infections. These infections not proving to be very valuable in the long term. He's got the teleports to make something work, but he's just not finding any sort of mistake from these survivors. You can see they're doing a good job splitting these gens at 3, saying, okay, we'll be okay. Just split the gen at 3, split the gen at 7, play your resets, and man, if you want to see a survivor team that's just playing well, it's right now, right here in the grand finals. Dino not able to just find any connection here, but does find scratch marks, so he knows the reset was here. But this whole time, Overdose is working that gen up at 3. A good head on to come in for safe measure. Gonna send the teleport over there. Wants to find a tag, needs to find a down. But look, we're gonna be heading into endgame. Jake is not the target you want. This guy's already got 1 stage in him. You want a fresh. I mean, look, we're most likely gonna be getting 5 stages here, provided Dino can find someone fresh. But if he's able to get this guy out of the game.
Oh my goodness.
But again, Overdose is just able to get these cleanses. This guy's camera movement is great, but again, this is not the survivor you want in the end game. I wonder if Dino's going to opt to just like this, but Overdose having the chase of his life.
Dino trying to be, this is the conundrum with Unknown. You have to be patient to lane your shots, but you can't be too patient. And Dino is unfortunately just a little too patient with those shots, leading to them cleansing the UVX infection before a shot is even able to land. And that's going to be the hook onto Overdose, but we have 3 healthy survivors on the board and a pull to boot. That's going to be the survivors running here towards the middle of the map, but a teleport to cut off Overdose. Dino says, no, I want 1 kill. I do not care. And he's actually going for UVX shots instead because they're setting up for body blocks. The only way to not get body blocked is if he lands a UVX.
No way.
But he has to land this. No! Does not land it. That is going to be a tag up to Mata, though. Mata's now kind of caught out with the team. No, they're set up to body block as well.
It's the wall!
They are too good at body blocking. That's going to be more stages out. 3 stages on the board. Valhalla coming to the grand finals, prepared, ready to show the world what they're made of, doing such an amazing job. 3 staging Dino Melons Unknown, and now we have to see whether dead future survivors are going to be able to stack up similarly or better against Valhalla to take us to the last Cenobite set. Otherwise, this could be the last game of the matchup. Valhalla could take it all. Please stay tuned. This is going to be very exciting. Thank you for watching, and we will be back momentarily. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Grindhouse Massacre. We are here in what is potentially the final game of this matchup. Dead Future going up against Valhalla, and this time we have the killer for Valhalla, Overdose, on the Unknown, going up against the Dead Future survivors, and they are up 2-1. This game will decide if they get that 3-1 victory here. And right now we see Hamdan here going to be running around this tile, just trying to deny as much as he can, but that is going to be a tag on the M1, and then leading straight to that truck filler. Very good dodge from Hamden, not going to give up the hallucination hit. And now Overdose is trying to get some sort of mind game as the UVX recharges. A bit of a swing there, but not going to connect. And Hamden doing a very good job pathing around this truck, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be a down.
What the Skibbity Ohio Sigma Rizominix Overdose is cooking with this build. I mean, look at him. He's got Enduring, he's got Know It, he's got, let's just glaze over what I just said, whatever. He's got some tools. I'm looking at this build though, and I'm saying like, just get the pallets of the map. No, it's gonna carry me to end game to this win. And survivors for Dead Future here, they've got to 2-stage this to win. Already working with the first stage. I mean, this is going to be a Herculean effort for them to get over this. 3 stages will be a tie. So they can't, that's if they want to even go to Cenobite. Even if they win this, they're going to Cenobite. We saw the Blight. Dead Future lost that harshly. We saw Singularity. Dead Future won that pretty hardly as well. Oni, again, Dead Future won it, lost it really badly. And now Unknown, are we going to see the same story? Like, where's the give? We got to see a give and take. I want to see the ups and downs of this tapestry of this match, of this chronicle of this series, but I'm not seeing it. But maybe it will happen. Enduring is going to help him to get away from that stun. Jinxie thought he had a bit more distance to make it to the bus. Is he going to be able to make it to the bus? I think he will. Overdose cooking with this build. Enduring, he's going to swing through every pallet, but there's going to be another down immediately. That's going to be a second hook with a fresh stage. So now, if another hook comes in after this, it will be the win completely for Valhalla. So now we are on the knife's edge for this grand finals of Grindhouse League. What a league it has been. We were talking in the early game, Tyro. This league started in first week of June. We are now in mid-September.
Yeah. What a ride. We've, participated in it as well. It's been a very fun event to take part in. Shout out to Alexi and FM. They really created something special with this. But this is going to be a game and a half still, because Overdose is here, going to be chasing Finesse, and if there's one survivor on Dead Future you don't want to chase, it's Finesse. Finesse is good stun. Demon, very good stun, but that Enduring is going to lead to not a hit because Finesse just did a super good job of hugging that generator. But right now Overdose is going over here to pressure this hook, does not want that unhook coming through. And one thing that I'm shocked that I didn't see more of, this game, because the hook stage requirement is so low, we didn't really see any survivors trying to go for pallet saves or, die under pallets in order to get that kind of pressure that is needed. And wow, we are still here at 4 generators on that second stage.
This is it. This is it. If Jinxie goes second here, the game's over because it's too fresh with 3 stages, right?
I think they also had 2.
Do they have 2 stages? Okay,
yeah.
they had 2 fresh. Okay.
So we still need one more stage. This is Tycon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, already a tough result for Dead Future. They cannot allow another stage to be given. No more mistakes in this set. But look at that build. I mean, they've not only got to get to endgame, but they've got to also deal with the Know It in the back pocket. Overdose has just got such a lenient win con. It's playing really patient with this, waiting to get the UVX. It wants it, but bounces off the tree. A great shot is going to put him down in a vending. How did you not get hit in time? Enduring with the reverse pallet stun back over to the vault. And what a way to close out this grand finals. An Enduring swing through the pallet, reverse stun, 180 hit. Is going to be the win, and that'll set Valhalla as our grand finalist wins of this first season of Grindhouse. Tyro, it's been a pleasure watching this, but man, what a storyline this Valhalla team has been. I mean, it didn't even look close. Like, Dead Future just basically went out with like a whimper.
Yeah, like, unfortunately for Dead Future, they just could not rise to the challenge here with that win condition. Again, I didn't see any like setups for like pallet saves or anything. Overdose really feeling himself here, just giving the nodders to his adversaries. going to be firing off some shots, as well as Jinxie goes up into the entity's realm. We now are in the 3v1, and we do have Hamdan here going to be chasing around this topside filler, just playing for the best result at this point. Overdose going to be chasing around this, but Hamdan doing a very good job of breaking that LOS and holding distance as well. The UVX not quite going to land, but the M1 is. And Overdose does have a teleport set up in the area that's going to be used. Hamdan forced to try to run away from that teleport rather than path optimally. That's actually going to lead Hamdan to playing this pallet. Oh, but a little bit of a prediction there is going to lead to Overdose missing that swing. Hamdan is going to make it into this tile, but I don't think he quite makes it to this pallet. The swing through, but a very good grade from Hamdan, going to extend the chase even more, and then he's going to make it over here to this pallet, Jim, but not quite to the pallet.
You know, one of those funny things about Enduring is the swing through pallet playstyle begins to become very predictable. So, you know, good job on Hamdan exploiting that, knowing that Overdose is going to try to play the crossbang, play his Enduring perk, and just try and get these hits through these pallets and greeting accordingly. But man, it's all said and done. I really got it. It's kind of weird to me, but it's funny that the more M1 focused playstyle in the end is what gets him the win here. I mean, maybe Unknown is one of those trap killers where oversending your power can often be a bit more detrimental than anything else. I mean, Tyler, you've got the most experience on this killer. Talk to me about what Overdose did here that was just so much better. You know, even with his lenient win con, what do you think that really orchestrated this kind of result?
I do think that the Enduring swing through pallet playstyle helped quite a bit. I mean, Overdose is just taking M1 chase at this point. He's not even going for UVX. And I think that Dead Future was not quite ready for, you know, such a playstyle focused around M1s. And it is kind of like you said, you can get away with M1ing half the time because of the strength of the zoning. I mean, half the time you just pull out your power and then survivors will walk right back into you, so you can fake it pretty easily and get swings. But yeah, I've always contended that Unknown as a killer would probably still be like, you know, low B tier if he did not have the ranged aspect to his kit. He does have the best teleport in the game, in my opinion. The fact that you're able to instantly blink, unlike most other teleports in the game, and you can choose where to set them up, it's a very strong ability. And you know, sometimes you can get baited, especially in comp, because you have to be so patient to land those UVX hits. You can get baited. A very good shot though from Overdose, going to get the down onto Fancy, and he's going to go straight over here to Hamdan, who's on this generator, going to be playing around the shack here. Finesse probably going for the pickup down there on the bottom side of the map, but I think Overdose does not want this final gen to pop. But that is going to be the pickup onto Fancy, and then a bit of an OVX snipe attempt as well, but that's not going to lead to Finesse getting hit. A little bit of a M1 mind game that is going to catch Finesse a bit off guard, but he's going to actually force the locker, and this could actually be the middle gen popping. We might still see outs.
Yeah, it would be nice to see a final result of an outs for this team Dead Future. I mean, look, they got all the way here to grand finals, and there it is. There's the final gen popping. This team will be your second place runner-ups for the first season of the Grindhouse League. And I mean, man, this team worked their asses off to be here, frankly, and well played them to get this far. Overdose eventually gonna close this out. Look how fast he's with that Noah. Just zooming on into Neon. And then has an idea on what's happening based off how fast he is. Overdose not content with taking this. He wants to go all the way to 4K. Now it's going to be up to the survivors of Dead Future to split and make sure they're not grouped, to make sure they're not going to be getting 4K slugged here. Fancy going to be found on this gate over here at 7. Inevitably going to be slugged here, but up to Finesse to see if you can get all the way over to Hamdan and stop it. But I'm kind of worried. There's a teleport over there by Hamdan slugged. And yeah, I mean, Overdose just gonna swing through it again. Fancy doing a good job greeting, but then Noah at speed gonna make it one little misstep. Noah gets cleansed, but Finesse, no pickup. He's coming
injured
through,
anyway.
So what does it mean? I think we're gonna be seeing a 4 KO to end our final game of the Grindhouse season.
Yeah.
There it is. Finesse taking his distance to the T, makes it to the vault, but not quite going to get it through. Overdose going to get the lunge and take him out, put him onto the ground. Wow, Valhalla are your victors for the first season of Grindhouse, and an EU team coming all the way into this bracket, mostly held by NA teams. So kind of coming in here and showing who's who. Well played by them, and Dead Future, I want to really thank them for coming out. They really put on a show today. It was a long, grueling set. We played about, was it 2.5 hours of DBD right now? So quite a long grand finals. No thanks to that Singularity game. I don't know if I would have preferred to watch all that, but either way, look, some good DBD today. Some great teams coming out. Let's just say what it was a good day for DBD, good comp DBD. And thanks you for all the teams, you know, giving us this opportunity to cast this. It's been a pleasure, guys, with you, Tyro. I mean, Tyro, do you want to say anything about Grindhouse League and just anything in general?
Yeah,
these
I
teams?
do want to mention to all the viewers that we are going to have a scrim night this Thursday. So please do stick around for that. Grindhouse scrims are always super fun. We get to be a little bit more unhinged on the casting as well. So do check that out. And additionally, in 2 weeks there will be a single weekend tournament held for Grindhouse. So do be sure to check that out. Be sure to join the Grindhouse Discord for more updates. Be sure to follow the channel, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, all this beautiful, wonderful stuff to keep updated. And yeah, this is going to be the last game of the matchup for this tournament. Grindhouse Massacre is over, and it was a fantastic run. I appreciate all the viewers out there. Shout out to all the staff that work behind the scenes. Y'all are the real goats because y'all do the hard work. Me and Georgie just get to yap. And shout out to all the players, all the teams. And most of all, shout out to Alexi and FM for going through hell and back to put on this show. We love the little community we've made here and the fun games that we've gotten to watch over the few months that we've had. So here's to a few more months. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.